back. The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I thank the chairman. Secretary Mayorkas, the Department of Homeland Security issued a National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin this year in February. It said the United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, and other forms of dis, and malinformation. Can you define malinformation for us?
Congressman, we're dealing with false information that is used for a particular purpose.
Isn't malinformation actually true information that may be inconvenient to the establishment orthodoxy?
I'm sorry, Congressman.
Isn't malinformation a made-up word that refers to information that's actually true but just inconvenient to the government narrative?
That is not true, Congressman.
Let me ask you this. You said that the proliferation of false or misleading narratives sow discord and undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Is it illegal to undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions?
Congressman, we become involved because we believe in the First Amendment right, and we have safeguards to protect it. We actually have a statutorily created Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. We become involved not with respect to a particular ideology. We are ideology neutral, but it's the connectivity to violence.
Isn't larger government an ideology, the bigger government? Let me ask you my original question, is it illegal to undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions?
Congressman, we understand First Amendment principles. We embrace and protect them. Individuals can espouse whatever ideology they believe in.
And so let me ask you the question, if you just answer it directly. Is it illegal to undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions? Isn't that, in fact, what we're doing here today? When we point out that you've released 1 million or 2 million people into this country without trying to deport them? I mean, are we, in fact, undermining trust in your institution? Aren't we doing that? And isn't that actually healthy when we point that out?
Congressman, may I share with you what the Department of Homeland Security does with respect to ideologies?
I need to ask you another question since you haven't answered any of these yet. You say that there is widespread online proliferation of false or misleading narratives regarding COVID-19. Is the claim that natural immunity is real, is that a false or misleading online narrative?
Congressman, we do not evaluate particular ideologies or particular narratives.
How about the claim that vaccines don't stop the spread of the virus? Was that a false or misleading COVID narrative?
Congressman, what we do is we are involved when there's a connectivity between an ideology, whatever that ideology.
How about, I'm not talking about ideology, I'm talking about COVID-19. Is the notion that masks were ineffective at stopping transmission, was that a false or misleading narrative?
Congressman, allow me to repeat. What we get engaged in is a connectivity to violence. It is our responsibility to prevent violence from occurring. We work very closely.
All right, I'm just saying, I want you to give me an example of a false or misleading narrative that encouraged violence. That you say that that grievances associated with these themes inspired violent extremist attacks during 2021. Extremist attacks? What are you talking about in this document when you say that false or misleading narratives about COVID-19 inspired violent extremist attacks during 2021? Can you give us a single example? I've given you some questions. Was it the narrative that this may have leaked from a lab in China? Was that the thing? And if so, what did it inspire? What's the violence?
Congressman, would you like an example?
Yeah.
Yeah. COVID-19 is caused by 5G cell towers, an attack on a cell tower. That attack on a cell tower triggers the involvement of the Department of Homeland Security. That is an example. It is the connectivity to violence. We do not condone
you think COVID-19 caused attacks on cell towers? I think you're chasing ridiculous things.
Mr.
People
Chairman,
watching this at home,
Mr. Chairman,
they've got to be just amazed that you would espouse
Chairman, can the
this.
witness be allowed to answer?
No, he is not. He said that false or misleading narratives about COVID-19 need to be censored. He's implying that they need to be censored because getting out this information, the free speech, is somehow dangerous to our country.
Chairman, he didn't say
in the
that.
context of COVID-19. I completely disagree. He didn't give us an example.
Chairman, can he
and
answer?
I yield back to
Can the
balance.
witness-
Can he answer
Witness
the
answer
question
the
because he's
question.
being misquoted?
The time belongs to the gentleman. He has yielded back. The time now goes to